So when talking about the transfer portal, there's a phrase I always use, and for those of you that have been around the channel for a while, I'm so sorry you're going to hear me say it one more time. The transfer portal giveth, but the transfer portal also taketh, and today we need to talk about a major move that happened in the transfer portal as former Texas wide receiver Brennan Thompson has announced his intention to transfer to none other than the Texas Longhorns' bitter rivals, the Oklahoma Sooners, something we have got to break down. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill, I've got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you surprised that Brennan Thompson's transferring to OU? And let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below, as those interactions seem small, but they are massive to content creators such as myself, and both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But with all that being said, let's jump right into this. And this is a big move. Brennan Thompson was an individual who, coming out of high school, was a top 150 player in the nation, specifically coming in at number 131 overall. And Thompson is someone that has speed that you just can't teach. In high school, he recorded a 10.38 100-meter dash, and that's track speed. It goes to show exactly why he ran track for the Texas Longhorns. And for Texas, in a perfect world, I have no doubt that you would have loved to have kept Thompson because of the speed he brings to the table and because of the upside he has. This is someone that on deep passes becomes an instant mismatch because of his long speed, and on short routes, anytime he gets the ball in his hands, because of his speed, he has the ability to take it the distance. So I have no doubt that in a perfect world, you would have loved to have kept a talented individual like this in that Steve Sarkisian offense. However, the silver lining here, if you are a Texas fan, is because he was in that wide receiver room, there's a lot of talent in that wide receiver room. And if there was one area on your team where you could probably stomach having a transfer come from, it was the wide receiver room. It's just unfortunate that it was Brennan Thompson, someone who the fans have been so excited about. Because when I've made videos about Texas, so many of you have came to me and said, hey, this young man has got a really bright future. Be on the lookout for Brennan Thompson. And I agreed. It's just unfortunate that injury got in the way, but I'm hoping that a change of scenery is all that the doctor ordered. And speaking of a change of scenery, we need to talk about where that change is taking him, to Texas's bitter rival, the Oklahoma Sooners. And this is what I find interesting, because whenever he announced he was hitting the transfer portal, two teams kind of emerged as frontrunners, Texas Tech and the Oklahoma Sooners. And the one thing I found intriguing about that is Texas Tech's former wide receiver coach, Emmett Jones, was no longer with the Red Raiders. He was with the Oklahoma Sooners. So I thought that would really help the Sooners. Inevitably, it did. And if you are Oklahoma, you've done a lot to identify the wide receiver position in the transfer portal. You just got Andrel Anthony from Michigan, someone who, per Oklahoma fans, is really impressing during the spring. And now you go and double dip in the transfer portal, getting in Brennan Thompson. And I can't blame any institution who brings in a Brennan Thompson. Whenever you look at the long speed he possesses, the ability to create mismatches, this is a guy that could make your offense more dangerous. And it's not just Oklahoma's. He could make anybody's offense more dangerous because of the speed he has. So, what does this mean for the Oklahoma Sooners going forward? Well, first and foremost, you love that you get another weapon on your offense to have for Dillon Gabriel, to have for Jeff Lebby to try and utilize, to try and move around like a chess piece. I also think this is great for a Farooq, someone who we know is going to be a massive piece of this Oklahoma offense. We've talked about it before, that the one thing the Oklahoma Sooners don't have in that wide receiver room outside of Farooq and Stoops is experience. They have talent. That's not the question. What they're lacking is experience. And though Brennan Thompson doesn't give you traditional experience, he does give you more talent. And if you can't get more experience, you don't argue with getting more talent. And that's exactly what Oklahoma did here. So I do find this to be a big move for the Oklahoma Sooners, stacking in more talent on offense. And I do find it compelling that he was a former Texas Longhorns, which is going to make this matchup even more interesting than it already was. But I can't wait to hear from all of you. Hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking about this move. That's it. See ya.